Did you like Lufia 2's Ancient Cave, or just roguelikes in general, where you can have a whole bunch of character classes to choose from, as well as strategic turn-based combat? Well, hi there, I'm David, and I might just have the game for you. This is Monster Menu Scavenger's Cookbook, to be released for the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch on May 23rd here in North America, and May 26th over in Europe. I'm going to level with y'all here, because roguelites aren't really my thing. But this one is a pretty cool take on them, because rather than just being let loose to go on it alone, this game fuses roguelikes with dungeon exploration, deep challenging combat, and tons of crafting, all together with a grid-based, turn-based, and fast-paced combat system, resource management, and a whole lot of strategy. You begin by choosing and customizing your character, and that is extensive. The customizer allows you to change their looks, voices, size, and even their personality. Everything is up to you. But more important than that, you can choose their class, and with 10 different ones to choose from, each of them special and unique, each party and playthrough will be entirely different. But the customization doesn't end there. Right from the get-go, you're asked if you want to turn censoring on or off, and how fast everything should move. From the way that you walk, to the dialogue, to what cutscenes that you want to skip. You can play this slowly and take your time, or make it a quick, breezy affair. There's also 4 different difficulty levels, which you can change at any time, from easy to normal to hard and even nightmare. And for the purposes of this review, I played it on easy, and even then I actually had some problems. So while this might look bubbly and cute on the surface, a challenge definitely lies beneath, especially as you delve further into the dungeons. You begin stranded in the Sealed Lands, which is supposed to be a beginner-friendly dungeon, but unfortunately, bitches lied to you, because it's not. You're trapped, dehydrated, and starving. And as you wander through just looking for that elusive exit, a monster comes out of the blue and smacks the crap out of you, knocks you all the way back to camp, where you stumble across 3 other travelers, who you can customize in much the same way as your hero. And then together, the 4 of you set off to traverse the Sealed Lands, clawing your way to the top in order to escape. Along the way, you'll pick up all sorts of different pieces of equipment, as well as crafting ingredients and monster parts. And whenever you're at camp, you can use those ingredients to cook food, because not only do you have to manage your party's level, HP, and equipment, but also their hunger, thirst, and happiness meters. And you're going to want to keep them as satisfied as possible. While a piece of food might satisfy their hunger and calories, it might not satisfy their thirst at all. Or it can be dry and make them even thirstier. Or you can get hold of a drink, but then it's dirty, so while it does satisfy their thirst, it also makes them unhappy. So be sure to pick up all the little things that you come across to keep your team in tip-top shape. The basic gameplay loop consists of going through 10 similar looking floors, fighting, gathering, grabbing treasure, and exploring, before coming over to that boss on the 10th floor. To help you along in your exploration, there is a mini-map which indicates where all the enemies are, where the supplies are located, where the altar is, and where the door is to the next level. Between each level, you are allowed to go back to camp in order to rest and restore your HP, turn the clock back to morning or night, craft recipes to manage your calories, thirst, hunger, and happiness, or even craft some new equipment. However, if somebody dies during your exploration, they can only be revived by going all the way back to the home base, and doing that will end your exploration and you'll have to start back at the very beginning. Every 10 levels there is a boss, and once you do beat that boss, it acts as a warp point. So if you do die, you can always warp from the base to the next 10th level. Many floors contain altars where you can spend monster shards in order to inflict curses. But maybe curse isn't the right word, because most of them aren't exactly bad, though some of them can be a double-edged sword. A curse might revive your characters, it might increase your speed, or it might restore everybody's HP at the cost of some of their hunger and thirst. Or if you want to grind, you could use a curse to power up the enemies. Speaking of those enemies, let's talk combat. The monsters move around independently from you. It's not a one-for-one move like it was in Lufia 2's Ancient Cave. Sometimes they can come behind you and ambush you, or you could ambush them. And if there's multiple monsters on the screen at the time of the ambush, you'll get into a fight with all of them at once. You fight in grid-based combat kind of like a strategy game, but here, it's definitely all action. You deal more damage whenever you attack from the sides and especially the back, and if you group up your characters around one particular monster, Then all your party members will inflict combination attacks, devastating that enemy. And while those first 10 floors are relatively easy, serving as a tutorial, it gets much harder once you hit floor 11. It's there that I first died, and I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should actually do some grinding. Thankfully though, your characters aren't picky eaters, because during battles, you can have them devour the carcasses of the monsters that you've just defeated, greatly restoring all of their health meters at the cost of losing the crafting item that you would have gotten after the battle. The combat's super fast-paced, very strategic, and honestly, it was the highlight of the game for me. Unfortunately, there really is no story to be had here. Your party won't be bantering back and forth with one another, and you're not going to encounter other adventurers or a town or anything else like that. This is old school through and through, and it reminds me of something that you might find back on the NES, Game Boy, or even the SNES, because after the initial 5 or so minutes of background information, you just hit the ground running, and you battle, craft, and explore. Some people might like this, and some people might like a little bit more story, but really, I didn't mind the lack of it while exploring, because I'm kinda used to that. I grew up on the NES after all. And after each boss fight, you will get a tiny tidbit of information before moving on to the next level of the dungeon, so the story really is a slow burn. All told, I had a pretty good time with this game, even though, like I said before, roguelikes aren't exactly my favorite thing ever. It's just kind of something brainless that I can turn on while I do my cardio or something. I think what really carried it for me though was that fast-paced strategic battle system that was implemented. And I also like mixing and matching all the treasures that I found and fooling around with the different weapons too. Is the game memorable? No. Will we be talking about this in 10 years down the line as some sort of forgotten classic? Also, no. But is this a fun way to kill some time on a rainy day? Well, yeah, it is. So that's it for my review of Monster Menu Scavenger's Cookbook. What did you think about the game? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and what I do on the channel, please consider following me over on Twitter, supporting me on Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.